everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here to do the BookTuber TMI tag. This tag was originally created by Jix Books, and I will link her original video down below. I was tagged by Flynn's Banter, or Flynn Banto. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And formal apology, because they tagged me more than 6 months ago, and I'm just now doing the tag. There are 50 questions here, so I'm going to try to be uncharacteristically brief as we get started. Number 1, what fictional character has the best style? I'd have to go with the Duchessa from the Stravaganza series. Just like the whole mask and gown ensembles that are described just always sound on point. I feel like she'd be such a good style icon too, because she's also got the attitude. Number 2, your book girlfriend slash boyfriend slash fictional crush. Oh my gosh, so many. Some kind of all-time favorites are Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing, Armand from Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge, Thorn from The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and Benvolio from Still Star-Crossed by Melinda Taub. Number 3, ever loved a character but then started hating them? Very rarely, but that did happen with Stephanie from the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. I loved her in the first and second books, and by the end, I hated her so much that I was reading it hoping she would die. Like, hoping she would be killed in a big battle. I know that's awful, but I still haven't read the last book, and part of it is because I hate her so much. Number 4, biggest slash longest book on your shelf. Probably Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I don't have my copy next to me, but I've showed it off enough. It's a brick. I am gonna read it at some point. Number 6, do you have any book posters? Yes. Do I have any of them up right now? I still have a few, like Harry Potter ones, mainly Draco Malfoy, because I was so in love with him when I was younger, and I still love Tom Felton. He's just wonderful. Number 7, do you have any book-themed jewelry? Yes, I have a Time Turner necklace, which was a present from my mother for Christmas, and I have some earrings, some Pride and Prejudice earrings that are glass studs, and they have Darcy and Elizabeth's name. I love them so much. I got them in the Jane Austen Centre in Bath in England, so that was really wonderful. Number 8, book OTP. Again, I have so many. I'll just go with some that are like the gold standard OTPs. Again, Beatrice and Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing. I love them so much. Like the OG hate to love. Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet, of course. Kestrel and Aaron from The Winter's Curse by Marie Woodkowski. Hava and Ahmad from The Golem and the Genie by Helene Vecker, which is all the more heartwarming and heartbreaking and wonderful because it's so subtle. Number 9, favorite book series. Once again, I can't pick just one. Harry Potter, The Chronicles of Narnia, Artemis Fowl. Yeah, let's stick with those 3. Number 10, favorite book to movie soundtrack. The only one that's coming to mind is actually for the Twilight movies, because even though the movies were not great, they had really, really good soundtracks. Like, I'm thinking of the one from the first and second movie. Number 11, a book story you miss slash wish would continue. I guess I'm in the minority here because I'm usually pretty satisfied with finales unless they're like truly atrocious. But a recent book that I really, really want a sequel to is Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. Like, I need more. I need to know what happens. Number 12, favorite standalone. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke is just fantastic. Number 13, since when do you read books? As long as I can remember. I was very lucky. My parents read to me and my brother and sister a lot when we were kids, so we kind of grew up loving books. Yeah, I don't really remember a time when I couldn't read. Number 14, which Hogwarts house are you in? Ravenclaw. 15, quality you look for in a book. Characters that I love and like an emotional kind of, like I can get emotionally connected to. The plot, I'm like very flexible on plot. There's a lot of kinds of stories that interest me, but if I don't love the characters, if there's not somebody that I can like really feel for and get like emotionally invested in, then like it doesn't matter how good the book is, how well it's written, or how interesting the plot is, I just won't care. Number 16, favorite book quote. Oh, there's so many. I'm gonna go with 2, again. One of them is from The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Her heart was a secret garden and the walls were very high. And then one that is actually from a play, and that is We Are All in the Gutter, but Some of Us Are Looking at the Stars. And that is from Lady Windermere's Fan by Oscar Wilde, one of my favorite plays of all time, and it's wonderful. Go read it. Or go see it if you get the chance. I still haven't seen it. Number 17, favorite author. Frances Harding, Marcus Zuzak, C.S. Lewis. Anne Ursu is a recent one. Catherine M. Valente, I've only read one book from her, but I feel like she's gonna be a favorite. 18, favorite book cover. Ugh, that's really difficult. That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston is one I just hauled, and that is just stunning. 19, action or romance. This might surprise some people, because I like kind of understated or subtle romances, but I'm gonna go with romance because action scenes or like action sequences in books just like bore the crap out of me. 20, where do you go when a sad moment happens? Probably my room if I'm reading at home. 21, how long do you need to finish a book? If I'm enjoying it and if I'm not super busy doing other stuff, probably just like 2 or 3 days maybe. Like even Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is like 1,000 pages, I read that book in like about a week because I was loving it so much. 22, how long is your mourning period? I don't really do that. Like I don't really get book hangovers. The only time it's ever happened is when I've read like the finale to a series I've been following like since the beginning almost. Like I remember when I read the last Artemis Fowl book, I was like devastated for a couple days after that. 23, least favorite book. Again, there are so many. Night Film by Marisha Pessl, 1984 by George Orwell, Lord of the Flies by William Golding, Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I could go on and on. I have a lot of least favorite books, but I also have a lot of favorite books, so it works out. 24 is turn on in a character. Intelligence, kind of snarky humor, but I also like when they're kind of a dork too. I also really like that character archetype that's like, oh, I'm the bad boy, like, I'm not in this for doing the right thing, I'm just doing it to like look out for myself, but then they always end up like doing the right thing. Like kind of like they think they're an anti-hero, but they're really just like a sweet little bean. I love that. Like, I'm thinking of Thorn from the Lunar Chronicles, full disclosure. 25 is turn off in a character. Any use of the phrase not like other girls, like, write you off. I also hate when, this is like slightly less common now, thank God, but like I also hate when the other characters, or the main character especially, like looks down on girls for being into feminine things. Like that's bullshit, frankly. I hate that. I also really hate when characters like think they're really like strong and spunky and like, I just do what I want because I'm so brave, and really they're just stupid. Like the classic example of this that just drives me up the wall is when they like mouth off and backtalk like the most powerful person in the book. Like not necessarily villain, but like somebody that could end them with a snap of their fingers, and they're like, I'm strong and sassy, so I'm gonna just say something to you that's gonna get everybody in trouble. I hate that. And then they're surprised when they're like thrown in prison or something. 26, the reason I joined BookTube, because I love books, I love talking about them, obviously. I could talk about them all day, and unfortunately I don't have that many friends in real life who enjoy reading, or the ones that I do, is like we don't see each other very much. 27, name a scary book. The Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray. Now I read that like kind of a while ago, so I don't know if it maybe wouldn't scare me quite as much now, but I think I was old enough to be reading it, but it just like really freaked me out. Like the last book in particular, like I think I had nightmares about that one. Yeah, I did not enjoy that. 28, last book that made you cry. Let's check Goodreads. I am definitely a book crier, so this probably won't be as difficult as it's supposed to be. There were a couple that like I almost cried at, like The Real Boy by Anne Ursu, that made me tear up. Circe by Madeline Miller was kind of the same thing, but I think the last one I remember actually like crying a little bit was actually The Star of Kazan by Eva Ibbotson, and it wasn't even like an important part of the story. There was just like this one scene with like this little old woman, and yeah, it broke my heart. 29, last book that you gave 5 stars, and that is The Real Boy by Anne Ursu. 30, any favorite book titles? The Sweet Far Thing by Libba Bray, even though I didn't like that series, I love that title. I think about it a lot. I think it's taken from a poem, actually. And another one is The Kingdom of Little Wounds by Suzanne Kokel. 31, last book you read. What's it called? The House of Four Winds by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. 32, book you're currently reading. Currently reading 3 books, but the one that I was most recently reading was The Hotel at the Corner of Bitter and Sweet by Jamie Ford. 33, last book adaptation you watched. Probably, is it My Cousin Rachel? That was a while ago, but that might have been the last one I saw. 34, a book character you always wanted to talk to. Most of my favorite characters, I guess. Holly Short from the Artemis Fowl series, like I want to be her friend. Yeah. 35, an author you always wanted to talk to. Jane Austen or C.S. Lewis are ones I think about a lot. 36, favorite book snack. It used to be sunflower seeds, but I'm not really supposed to eat them anymore because, in case you guys didn't know, I have TMJ. It's like a problem you have in your jaw, and it's miserable. And one of the things that you're absolutely not supposed to eat is sunflower seeds. So that sucks. But sometimes I do anyway. 37, book world you want to live in. Narnia. Because like, it's so like magical and wonderful, and it's relatively peaceful when, you know, when there's not like wars going on or anything, and it's just Yeah, I would love to live there. That would just make my heart so happy. 38. Book world you don't want to live in. Most of them, honestly. I read a lot of fantasy, and most of those worlds are not places you would want to be for any amount of time. I'm gonna say The World of Noundel by Maria Turchaninov. That's a book I just finished recently, and it was brilliant. Like, the whole point of that book is that it's explaining why they needed the sanctuary for women and girls that happens in the first book. So yeah, I just would not want to live there. 39. Last time you smelled a book. Actually, and I don't do this a lot, but that was yesterday. 40. Weird insults used in books. The only one I could think of, really, is Cake Sniffer from the Series of Unfortunate Events series by Lemony Snicket. Like, Carmelita Spatz, I remember her name, she called everyone a cake sniffer, and like, why? 41. Favorite romance book. If we're talking like a book that is a romance, not a book that has romance in it, Cotillion by Georgette Heyer. 42. Do you write? I do not. 43. Favorite magical item. I don't know. I kind of like magic systems where you don't need a bunch of magical items. Oh, no, you know what? I'm gonna go with pretty much anything that Morwyn owns or enchants from the Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reed. She's got a house that has like different like rooms that you can disappear in. Basically, it's like Hermione's bag, but in a house. She's got sleeves that are like Hermione's bag that she can like keep stuff in. Just Morwyn is just like practical use of magic, like goals or something. Like, I just love her so much. Everything she uses would just come in handy so much in regular life. 44. Your Quidditch position. I have thought about this before, and I honestly have no idea. I could not be a seeker. Being a beater would stress me out. There needs to be a position in Quidditch that's like the equivalent of a defender in soccer, because I couldn't beat a keeper. Like, I have played goalie before, and I hated it. Like, I was okay at it, but I hated it. I was awful at being a forward, so I couldn't be a chaser. So, I don't know. Tell me in the comments. 45. Name a song you connect to a book. I'm going with Poison and Wine by the Civil Wars. That's the song I connect with the Artemis Fowl series, or one of them, and specifically with Artemis and Holly and their like friendship and how it just means so much to me. Number 46. Favorite book related chat up line. I have a couple that like sort of count. So one of them that I think is really funny, that is really not that clever, but it's I'm wild about you. Wild spelled like Oscar Wilde, because in case you can't tell from my channel name and just like who I am as a person and what I talk about, I love Oscar Wilde. And then the other one is like not even a chat up line. It's sort of the opposite of that. And this was like on Twitter or Tumblr or like somewhere on the internet, like, but it's like with Lady Macbeth and her husband. So she says to her husband, "Is that a dagger in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" "I'm just happy to see you." Pathetic. I love it. Like, what can I say? It's Shakespeare humor. It's accurate. It's unexpected. 47. Have you ever used it? No. 48. Favorite book fandom. I'm not super active in a lot of fandoms anymore. Like, and even when I was involved in it, it was never, I don't know, it was never like all consuming. I do have like a soft spot in my heart for the Artemis Fowl fandom because it's so small, but so, I don't know, so passionate about the series. 49. How many books do you own? Way too many. Cop out answer, but like honestly I have no idea. A few hundred. Yeah. Haven't counted them, and I don't plan on it. And finally, question number 50 is, who do you tag? So given the fact that I was tagged like 6 months ago, you'd think I would have like thought about this already, about who I was going to tag, but I have not. And again, my deepest apologies to Flynn for not doing this tag until halfway through the year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!